All right, let's have a real talk about inflation, right? Inflation is real. It's absolutely real. It's not a new thing, though. This has been going on for pretty much ever. It's easy to get into a situation where you want to point a finger at somebody or something because you want an answer. You want to understand why your life has been turned upside down. Well, first of all, it hasn't exactly been turned upside down. The reality is that inflation can actually be an economic stimulant. It's not a good thing if it continues to last, but a fluctuation is real. It absolutely happens. Kiyosaki has talked about this before. Several great business-minded, investing-oriented people have spoke on this in depth and on an extensive level, that the reality is that it can be an economic stimulant, but it's only when it lasts extensively that it becomes a bigger problem. Ultimately, what we deal with when it goes on for too long is you get people bogged down in a situation where it's causing harm, right? But the reality is it happens all the time. It happens, okay, here's a perfect example that I think is the most simplistic way to break it down. It's like, think about fruit, right? You go to your regular chains, grocery stores, things like that. They have certain fruits that out of season, they just won't even stock. They won't stock because it's too much work. It's too much work, it's too costly, and they don't want to upset their clients, so their customers. So instead of upsetting customers by the price being inflated, they just don't stock it. The reality is, just because a fruit or vegetable or whatever produce is out of season doesn't mean it's impossible to get. It just means it costs more. Because ultimately, acquiring things in mass quantities in bulk is going to be more cost effective. And therefore, you can offer them at a better price, right? So when you have to acquire these things in small quantities because that's all that's available, because you don't have them being produced all over the nation or all over the world even. You have them only produced in very small remote areas because they're out of season. That price is going to be inflated. Now you're going to have these little bodegas, these little produce stores, these little, nice little mom and pop places, these farm to market places. They're going to have it, right? They're going to have those things that are out of season, but it's going to cost you. Not only is it going to cost you just going to these places in the first place because they're more expensive, but it's definitely going to cost you for that item a little bit more than when they were in season. But see, you kind of accept that fluctuation when you go to a little bodega, this little specialty produce store, this farm to market. The fluctuation in prices, it just seems okay. It just seems normal. But there's something about going to this chain that you think prices shouldn't fluctuate. That's a condition of our society. That's a condition of our economy. We have been conditioned to believe that that's the norm, and that's why these stores don't stock certain things. They'll be like, we don't have it. Okay, it still exists. It still grows somewhere, because there's somewhere that's not getting snow, there's somewhere that's not getting an abundance of rain, or there's somewhere that is getting an abundance of rain because that's what that particular fruit needs. It's like, no matter what it is, it's being produced somewhere. It's just being produced in fewer places in smaller quantities when it is out of season. That's just a kind of a basic understanding of how that works. And we seem to be okay with it with fruit. But when it comes to, or you're just not aware of it because you're someone who only shops at the primary grocery store and you're just like, it's out of season. Well, strawberries are out of season. We just don't have strawberries. Well, farm to market and the bodega have it. They actually do. Pricey, but they have it, right? Now, I see people, another thing that we can do when it comes to inflation is just accepting and understanding that it's real, and not perpetuating or embellishing the reality of it on social media. What we could do is use social media for the tool that it is, the awesome, amazing, wonderful tool that it can be by using it to help people. Hey, did you know? I know where you can get a great deal on this. I know where you can get a great deal on that. I know where you can, it's like you give people tips instead of constant complaints. What we get is people holding bags saying, oh, this one little bag, this was $100 of groceries. These 2 little bags, now I know what it feels like to carry $400 worth of groceries. That nonsense is absurd. I don't know what it is you have in those bags or what it is, where it is that you're shopping. But the reality is I have a family of 4. I have a family of 4 and we are hardy Texas boys. You know what I'm saying? My 2 boys, they eat like nobody's business. Not only that, but I always keep snacks around for their friends and things like that. I never shy away. Mom taught me that. Never shy away from offering a plate to a friend. So we always have plentiful of food. And I'm telling you right now, even with all I'm talking about groceries, period. Food, snacks, supplements. Kimberly takes certain supplements and things. I like protein bars and stuff when I'm rushing around, I'm working or whatever. They're costly. These things cost money. So we spare no expense. We also like meat. We like meat and we like fresh produce. Kimberly loves fresh produce. Like we have some frozen vegetables and fruit and things like that. When we're in a pinch, we're in a hurry, we need to whip something up fast. We got some canned goods also because, just in case. And some of the canned goods, they actually really, the boys prefer certain vegetables out of the can. But we like a lot of fresh lettuce, cabbage, apples, all these things we keep in stock, right? We keep them in the house, right? Okay, so with all these things considered, plus all of our hygiene things, toothpaste, deodorant, toilet paper, paper towels, laundry detergent, dish soap, bath soap, body wash, all the facial cleanser, like all these different things, right? And my boys are at an age, they're 8 and 9, and they love, fixing up their hair. They want pomade, hairspray. They have Axe that, they want to smell good. They want to smell like dad. They want to, all these things. These things, like I said, spare no expense. All of these things, we spend about $180 to $300. 300 is about the max when it was an off week and we ran out of a lot of these different things. But we spend about $180 to $300 a week. That's sparing no expense. Now, at the end of the day, you can look at that and say that's a lot. That's roughly around $1,000 a month. And it is. It's about $1,000 a month. It's not like that every month, but like I said, that's about an average. And like I said, that sounds like a lot. But like I said, that's sparing no expense. Last month, we actually decided to go on a tighter budget. Not because we had to, but because we wanted to. We wanted to do something different. We wanted to take our trip. We had a camping trip last month that we wanted, and we knew we were going to spend some extra money on, some camping things and stuff like that. And we knew we were going to spend money on gas to get out there and probably have some lunch on the way out there or something like that. We knew that this was going to have some extra expenses, right? Out here on the road, we've got camping gear packed in storage at home, but ultimately that was from back when me and Kimberly camped. So we knew we needed to spend some money. So instead of dipping into, our funding and, we have money allocated for to grow the business. We have money allocated in our budget for our different bills. We have money allocated for all these different things. And we didn't want to slow down any of the things we had allocated money for. And so we're like, well, we don't want to slow down these things, but we don't want to, so we're like, what we can do? We can tighten up the budget this month and we can go on that trip without putting ourselves, without having to put our finances in a bind, right? So we actually went down that last month. We spent about 100 to 150 each week and cut our monthly grocery shopping almost in half. Now, like I said, this is feeding a family of 4 and those hungry boys that eat sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a day sometimes, Yeah, normally you're supposed to eat 3 meals, but when you have boys that eat Texas-sized meals, and then you multiply that and say, well, they ate 4 meals today, 5 meals today, they grazed and snacked throughout the day, plus they fed some of their buddies, you know? It's like, with all that considered, people saying, well, I'm a single person and I can't get by on, $200 a week. You can't get by on $200 a week. I'm feeding 4, sometimes 6 people for less than that. I don't know where you're shopping or what you're buying. But I saw a post the other day on social media, on Facebook actually. There was a post, there was this image, and this guy had these items on his table, and it was like, I don't know, 10 things. And he's like, well, that's $100 worth of groceries. And I was like, I looked at the items, saw a lot of those items I totally buy, and I was like, and there was a girl who posted, she was like, I could easily buy all that for, or no, there was a guy. He was like, I posted it, I could easily buy all that for $50, but, because I get better deals by going to the SelfCheck. And it was like, so a girl responded to him and said, well, I can get all that for about $50 without stealing. I cut coupons. And the reality is, I looked at all the items that he had, and I could have got everything there for under 60. Everything that he had on the table, I could have gotten. He had some meat, he had some chips, he had some cereal, he had a few different vegetables, an artichoke, and I think some cabbage or something. But like I said, I was like, I could have bought all that for under $60. Maybe under 50, I don't know. But anyways, I could have gotten it for 50, 60 bucks, and that is without me clipping coupons. That's without me stealing anything. I don't know where people are shopping, and honestly, I don't think it's that people are shopping at places that the price is so inflated. I think it's that people are upset about the inflation, and because they're upset about the inflation, they get on social media and they vent, and they feel like venting isn't enough unless they embellish. They've got to embellish and inflate those prices even more, so that way they're justified. No, all it does is make you come off like a liar. It makes you come off like you don't really know how to shop. It makes you, makes you look careless and frivolous and not wise with your money. Unless you have a bunch of people that just get on there and validate you. I know, it's so horrible. I can't believe things cost this much. But they don't. They don't. Inflation's real. Inflation's real, and when things are scarce or in a rarity, like a fruit out of season, the cost is going to be inflated because the cost to acquire it is more. So the cost to acquire it costs more, so the cost to buy it from the person who acquired it is going to cost you more. If you can't really understand that or see that as reasonable, sorry for you. Inflation's real. It happens. And yeah, when it lasts too long, it sucks. It begins to wear on people. But things have gotten a lot better. They're not nearly as bad as they were. And the economy's on the rise. We're in a better place. And we're continuing to get better every day. And that's not a political thing, that's a reality thing. I'm not pointing a finger at anybody and saying, hey, you're the one who messed it up. And I'm not pointing a finger at anyone and saying you're the one who fixed it. I'm saying it's on the rise and it's gonna be okay. Let's do the best we can, and in the meantime, while things are still tough, while things are still hard for different people around the nation and different people around the world, how about instead of continuing to complain on social media, let's use social media to help reach out to your fellow friends and neighbors and family and say, hey, I got an idea for what could help you. Let's do better. It's your boy. Like, subscribe, ding the bell, get your notifications. Stay tuned. I got more coming for you. It's your boy, and I'm out.